guess that clock up there is a little slow, so we'll just go ahead and get started.
Okay, so when it says it's 10, we quit, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Probably Jeff will come stand up next to the podium.
Okay.
So.
Welcome, everybody. Some of you probably remember this song from back when we used to do it. Heart to heart, hand in hand, every voice in every land. The vision's clear, one family. God works through every heart and mind. It's up to me. We love those near and far away in harmony. We act and pray. We share our dream for all to see. The peace I give, the peace I live, it's up to me. So lift your voice, God works through you. We change the world through what we do. The earth is all one family. I'll be the peace I want to see. It's up to me. Play it for me, Scott. Do that again. Heart to heart, hand in hand, every voice in every land. The vision's clear, one family. God works through every heart and mind. It's up to me. We love those near and far away in harmony. We act and pray. We share our dream for all to see. The peace I give, the peace I live, it's up to me. So lift your voice, God works through you. We change the world through what we do. The earth is all one family. I'll be the peace I want to see. It's up to me. So lift your voice, God works through you. We change the world through it's up to me, up to me. I'm happy. Are you happy? We're all happy.
Good morning. And I want to welcome you here today and to our worldwide online community to Unity Spiritual Center, Spokane. As our mission states, we are a vibrant community growing through spiritual practice and love. I'm Jeff Hunter. I will be your platform assistant this morning. And if everyone could please silence your cell phone, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. As always, we want to begin our time together today by sharing our opening affirmation. Together, we affirm there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle. One presence, one power, one life, living through and as each one of us. Today, Reverend Bonnie will teach us how to pray for ourselves through affirmative prayer. Our music today is provided by the incomparable Michael Robinson.
Thank you very much.
And that will be followed by Steve with a reading and an opening prayer. First, our song leaders, Rick and Sally, will lead us in our opening song.
It is great to have Michael back.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We let it be. Today's reading is taken from the book Meta-Human by Deepak Chopra. Only awareness is real, even as it plays the role of observer and observed, even as it creates the worlds out there and in here. Its own nature is unchanging. Awareness exists. Everything else is a passing experience. These two sentences have been said and resaid for centuries. The fact shows that at the very least, that human beings looked at reality and found it mysterious. How did change emerge from non-change? How did one become many? The mystery was formulated in countless different ways. Ask what came before time began, as modern cosmology does, is merely a variant on the medieval question, what existed before God? The answer is contained in the question. What came first has been here forever. Change is just the mask worn by non-change. Once human beings saw the mystery, we saw our own nature. We are creator and created, one and many, changing experience and unchanging awareness. None of this has to be proved or tested. Whether you accept your true nature or not has no bearing on your true nature. It continues to be. On waking up, you see your true nature clearly, and then a new life begins. Now we'll move on to the morning prayer. Let's take a moment to sit back, get comfortable in our chairs, and turn our attention within, leaving all thought of this morning to the past and what will happen after the service to the future. You and I are here now. So let's lean into this now moment as we pray. I ponder the idea of the allness and oneness of God the good. With God as the all, then I must be, by definition, an expression of God, as each and every one of us in this room must be. I allow the God self, this capital G good self, this eternal self, to demonstrate itself more fully to me and through me. I am alive in source. I am vital in life. I live from the eternal. I accept my real self. From this space and place, I bless each and every person here in the sanctuary, knowing that Source is active and alive within each of us. I know that it reveals its wholeness to those who perceive ill health. I know it comforts and uplifts those who perceive loneliness. I know this sacred presence provides guidance, jobs, funding, all that is necessary for a full life. I bless this service. I know the creativity of God is being expressed through the musicians, and the truth of God is being spoken through Reverend Bonnie this morning. I speak blessings over the children's program, knowing that God is being revealed through their play and curiosity. What a good day. What a joyous day. And so it is.
want to sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. But when you worry, you make it double. In every life we have some trouble. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. To lay your head, somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry, be happy. The landlord says your rent is late. He may have to litigate. Don't worry, be happy. Look at me, I'm happy. Ain't got no style, ain't got no gal to make you smile. Don't worry, be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. Don't worry, be happy. Everybody. Good singing.
Thank you. Boy, I heard that I would be in a treat hearing Michael sing today, so there we go. What a joy. Thank you, Michael. And all of you musicians today, I greatly appreciate it. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center Spokane. I'm Reverend Bonnie. Welcome whether you're here in person or online tuning in. Big shout out to all of our friends who we have come to know online, whether it's Doreen or Sherry or a whole group that have made themselves known to us. I met Mary True on Christmas Eve, and she said she watches every Sunday, so shout out to our great growing audience. We thank you so much for being here. So today is our second Sunday in the year. And what I originally was going to talk about, since we chose a word that we are planning on embodying and getting to know for 2024, my original plan was to talk about chemicalization. And was to say the minute we choose a word and say it's ours, everything unlike it is going to come into our field, and we're going to have to wade our way through it. So I was going to give a talk today on chemicalization, and then last Sunday when we were talking, I thought, wait a minute, why don't we play around with affirmative prayer so that when chemicalization happens, we all know how to put a stake in the spiritual ground and say, I am one with the only thing that is, and this word that I have chosen is rightfully mine in consciousness. So why don't we instead use a tool? So today is going to be more like class, so I hope you have your paper and your pen out, Because what I'm going to ask you to do is to pray every day this week for yourself with your word, whether you do it right or not, whether it feels comfortable or not, that you get in the groove with that. Then next week, we are going to have prayer partners and learn to pray for other people. So this is the deal. First of all, you don't have to prayer partner if you don't want to. Second of all, if you want to, you can choose your own. So after service today, you can check out who's here, and if someone resonates with you, you can ask them if they'd be willing to be a prayer partner. If not, then next week we will have sign-ups for those who couldn't find a prayer partner. We will have a way of hooking you up with someone. Our prayer partnership is going to last 90 days or 3 months, so there's a beginning and an end. And it's about a half-hour investment every week. So that's just kind of a preview on that. Whether you choose to have a prayer partner or not, learning how to do affirmative prayer for someone else is a very important and valuable spiritual tool to have. And so it's my hope and intent that you are here next week and are a part of this beautiful process. We're going to start today by hearing a clip from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And here we go.
In midlife, your personality becomes pretty hardwired. If you keep thinking the same thoughts, if you keep making the same choices, you keep doing the same things, you keep creating the same experiences, you keep feeling the same emotions, I don't know, let's be conservative. You do that for 10 years. You would have to agree with me then that it would become more automatic, it would become more unconscious. So your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. That is it. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So keep thinking the same way, keep acting the same way, keep feeling the same way. Your personality is the same, and your personal reality would be the same as well. So if you wanted to change your life, if you wanted to change your personal reality, you would have to change your personality. And then you'd have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and decide if you really want to believe that any longer. And when does the story end? It's that moment that you become so conscious of that thought, you're so tired of it, you're so aware of it that you would never let it slip by your awareness ever again. You catch yourself complaining and blaming and making excuses and feeling sorry for yourself, and that's been your unconscious program. Then the moment you become conscious of those unconscious behaviors, you're out of the program. You're only in the program when you're unconscious, and so it takes an enormous amount of energy and awareness to separate from those programs. And then there's those emotions that we feel every single day that are so familiar to us that we don't even know what they are. We just feel guilty. We don't even know it's guilt. It's just how we feel. And the stronger the emotions that we have to experiences in our life, the more altered we are inside of us. When the chemistry changes inside of us, the brain narrows the focus on the cause and takes a snapshot or a series of snapshots, and that's called a long-term memory. And so then it makes total sense then that a person, by every time they relive that event in their life, they're making the same chemistry in their brain and their body, and their body's literally believing it's living that experience over and over again. And now the body's so in the past that it's the mind of the past. So then the act of becoming so conscious that you don't go unconscious is a changing of consciousness. How many times do we have to forget until we stop forgetting and start remembering? That is the moment of change. And I looked up the word meditation. I looked it up. I wanted to know what that symbol meant, and it means to become familiar with, to become so conscious of your unconscious self, to know thyself so well that you don't default back to that old personality that's a set of hardwired thoughts and attitudes and beliefs. automatic habits and behaviors and emotional responses that are equally as automatic. And the hardest part about change is not making the same choices you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, I got news for you. Get ready, it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel unfamiliar. There's gonna be some uncertainty. There's gonna be some unpredictability. You're not complaining any longer. Your body's gonna go, well, what have you been doing for the last 30 years? You're just gonna stop today? We've manufactured all these chemicals so easily, and the body's gonna start craving those emotions. And it's going to signal the brain to do what? Think the same thought. Why? So it could make the same choice, so it can do the same thing, so it could create the same experience, so it could feel the same emotion. The person says, this feels right to me. No, 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 no. It feels familiar to you. So the 95% of the personality that is on automatic pilot, to know thyself, we discovered that you don't walk around pretending to forgive. That's not what it's about. Is you sit in the fire in the meditation and you keep working and selectively deciding what thought you do want to believe. And when it's the hardest, it matters the most. If you were really, truly, truly ambitious about your life, you would say before you got up in the morning, I'm going to remind myself of who I no longer want to be, how I'm not going to think, how I'm not going to act, how I'm not going to feel. I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but let me just, when I step in that river of change, that biological, that neurological, that chemical, that hormonal genetic death of the self, let me help myself here. What thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain? And with attention and with intention. If a belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over in your brain, you can begin to install neurological hardware in your brain. Keep doing it, and the hardware becomes a software program, and the side effect of that is that's a new voice in your head. No magic there. If you said, how am I going to be with my ex? How am I going to be with my coworker? How am I going to be with my kids? What would greatness look like today? What would love do today? And if you closed your eyes and you rehearsed the scene, the act of mental rehearsal, just imagining something, the brain when it's present doesn't know the difference between what the person is imagining and the real life experience. And the brain is changing to look like the event has occurred. Keep installing that hardware and all of a sudden it'll become a software program. And you might actually start acting like a happy person. No magic there either. You primed the brain for that behavior. You installed it. This is the hard part for most people. Can you teach your body emotionally what the future will feel like before it happens? That means you're not waiting for your wealth to feel abundant. You're not waiting for your success to feel empowered. You're not waiting for your new relationship to feel love. You're not waiting for the mystical experience to feel awe. You're not waiting for your healing to feel gratitude. That's the old model of reality of cause and effect. Wait for something outside there to change, to take away this lack or separation or emptiness that I feel inside me. But if you begin to condition your body into the emotion of that future, and you could become familiar with that emotion because you could bring it up every day, and you could keep becoming more familiar with the way you're thinking, the way you're acting, and the way you're feeling. If you actually feel the emotions of your future before they happen, you'll never look for it. Why would you look for that future if it felt like it already happened? Get ready. I'm telling you, get ready, because weird things are going to happen in your life. The side effect of that is the synchronicity, the serendipity, the coincidence, the opportunity, the unusual event that causes you to do the and I'm not talking about a parking space either. I'm talking about a real life event where your world is rocked. And somehow you come to the awareness, the consciousness, the understanding that somehow you're creating this. And we move from being the victims of our lives to being the creator of our lives. And I want people to experience that, to prove to themselves how powerful they really are. And people have done all kinds of things as a result.
Ooh. You can clap. We can definitely clap. So I went to Scotland and studied with Joe Dispenza many years ago, and I wanted to have the experience of sitting in a room, which I did, with 10 or 20,000 people, however many that Edinburgh Conference Center held. And it was completely full with people from almost all countries in the world meditating together. And it was a 3-day event, and it was spectacular. And what I appreciate about Dr. Joe is that he is teaching what New Thought has taught forever. It's that he has backed it with scientific data. And so that skeptical part of a mind that says, wait a minute, what is this woo-woo stuff, goes, wait a minute, this is not woo-woo, this is the way it works. So I salute Dr. Dispenza for the work that he does in the world. So what we did when we came together in Scotland was affirmative prayer, is that he's bringing meditation and affirmative prayer out into the world. And similarly, many of you have done the Power of 8 work, and that is affirmative prayer. And that has been brought out into the world by Lynn McTarget. Did I say that right? And then religious science has its form of affirmative prayer. And today we're going to look at Unity's form of affirmative prayer. But before we do a brief review of what Dr. Joe said, he said that your personality creates your personal reality. So what we do in affirmative prayer is we leave our personality and we go to capital T truth. To change your reality, you must change your personality, and that naturally happens through the process of affirmative prayer. Your choice changes your brain hardwiring into software. I liked that visual analogy. The change will feel uncomfortable. I've said that at the podium a lot this past year, as I'm sure all of your teachers have. Imagine your important relationships, he said, and sit in the fire of forgiveness. And I loved that, when we sit in the space of claiming how our mind is going to see a person that we have put outside of our heart. That's very powerful. Practice your future emotions before they happen and get ready for the weird. Love that. I think I have a magnet on my refrigerator at home that says weird is a sign of greatness or something. That's what it reminds me of. Side effects, synchronicity, serendipity, and your world will become rocked. You will move from being a victim to a creator. All right. So I want to share a little bit about how affirmative prayer has benefited my life. First and foremost, I moved down to Arizona from Seattle, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, and my dad thought I was crazy. He was like, but you don't have a job there. And I was moving because I wanted to live there and create a job second. I wasn't going for work. So I showed up, and I, not knowing a soul in Arizona, was able to build a practice as a spiritual practitioner and a minister and do it from scratch. And I relied upon prayer. I relied upon asking when I needed financial support, and it came. And it came in really bizarre, weird ways, and it didn't matter how it showed up. And I had a friend come over to my house one day and saw all of these checks sitting on my kitchen table. And I was opening them, and he said, oh my God, why did all these people send checks to you? And I'm like, I don't know, let's find out. And I opened a check, and it was a refund from the health insurance company because I didn't use my health insurance that year because I wasn't sick. So I got a refund for part of my payment that I was making every month. And he goes, nobody gets those. And I go, I guess I do. And then Dial Soap Company would call me up, and they would say, hey, you're in our demographic. Are you willing to do a survey with us so we can see how your customer base works? And I was like, okay, there's another $750 out of nowhere, and it just kept coming in whenever I needed it. But it was important for me that I knew that God was my source, and I used affirmative prayer for that. The other thing is I've experienced all kinds of healings for my own body temple as well as working with clients, and I'll talk about that more next week. But one client comes to mind who had diabetes, and he came into me and he said, I don't want to be diabetic anymore. And so we sat down and we did affirmative prayer work over time, and we looked at what was going on in his mind and thought and connected to source. And in less than 2 months, his body tested without any form of diabetes. And it just reminds me of the power that each one of us has in our own body temples. This next story is bizarre and is fun and is weird and is scary, in that when I was in Kenya this last 4 months ago, however long ago it was I was there was 20 of us in our tour, and we were in the Toyota Land Rovers, and we were going down a main highway in the country, and spikes were thrown out in the road that if our vehicles went over them, our tires would pop. So all 3 of the Land Rovers came to an abrupt stop, and these men in military uniforms who were bandits came running towards our vehicles. And our drivers, who were our safety between ourselves and the country, jumped out of the vehicles and went and started fighting with these bandits. And the bandits, of course, wanted money. In that process, we were in the vehicle looking out the window, and we were seeing our drivers being beaten. And there was billy clubs, and they were getting beaten, and I got really, my human side, my personality got really afraid. And I threw my money and my ID and everything to the lady in the back, and I said, hide this in the cooler, like that would make a difference. Hide this in the cooler, hide this in the cooler. And then I go, oh my God, oh my God. And before I had left, and I'd never done this on any trip, but I had asked Murphy, if anything were to happen on this trip, would you make sure I get home safely? So the first thought I had is, military Murphy will work on this. And the second thought I had is, this is going to be national news because we're going to be thrown in jail and Joe Biden's going to have to get us out. And the police showed up, and the police are corrupt. And so they were on the side of the bandits to help, to help. And so then I threw up my hands and I said, what am I doing? I pray for a living. And so I said, you guys erase everything I just said. I'm just going to sit in prayer. And I sat there and I said, God is everywhere present. It is here with me. It is out the window where this activity is happening. And I do not know how this is going to resolve, but I know that it is. I know that God the good is going to show up and peace is going to result. And I know safety is right where I am. And I went into prayer at that moment of intense drama happening right outside the window. And then one by one, this is how it got resolved. And I never knew this could happen, but one by one, other tour vehicles came up and pulled in front of us. And it turns out that our tour guide had trained almost all of the drivers in Kenya. And so they saw that this beloved guy was being clobbered, and they, one by one, pulled over until there was more tour guides out of the vehicle than there were bandits. And then all of a sudden, all at once, you watched all of the tour guides jump up, run, get in their car, and drive away. And so we're driving, and there was tension, because it's like, what do you say after that? And our tour guide was embarrassed. And so it was quiet for about 30 minutes. And then I said, so how does it feel to be a hero? And he just lit all up. Like, oh yeah. And then he talked about the corruption in the country. He talked about this other stuff. But what I want to say is that for me, in my life and in the way I live, affirmative prayer works. It is a tool that I am so glad that I have, and it's one that changes my consciousness, and I have watched it, when we connect to the only consciousness that is, change all kinds of forms. So I completely trust it. And then lastly, I have used affirmative prayer to grow every single business or organization that I have ever worked in, because I know that the energy, the Christ energy, the God energy, the good energy is that which attracts. So let's jump into affirmative prayer. The first step, and this is Unity's way of praying, the first step is to relax. And we relax by talking to ourselves and reminding ourselves of the allness of God. So God is all there is. God is all there is, and all of this stuff is showing up to look like lack. All of this stuff is showing up to look like danger. All of this stuff is showing up to look like illness. All of this stuff is showing up, and we just sit and relax and know that God is all there is. That's our first step in prayer. Self-talk, I have come to believe, is one of the most beautiful spiritual practices that we can do. So our first step in prayer is self-talk and reminding ourselves that God is all there is. The second step is called concentrating, and it is to sit with the God awareness and feel it in your body. So it's not just enough to be a mental experience, it's to be a full-bodied being experience. And so one of the ways I do that is I say, since God is everywhere present, all of the time, always active, it's omnipotent, it's all-powerful, it's omnipresent, it's everywhere present, it's omni-active, it's everywhere active. God is all of it, then therefore it must be within me. So I get to own that consciousness of Christ, that consciousness of God, that consciousness of Source as being my higher self. And that is connecting with the force field of God. And what I know to be true is there's nothing more stronger on this planet than the force field of God, the good. So then our next step is we meditate. So we know God is all there is. We've connected as the outlet for God, as Emerson would say. He'd say we're the inlet and the outlet of God. So we connect to God. We recognize we are that aspect of God. And then Unity would have us sit and meditate. So be in that allness for a while. I like sitting in silence, as those of you who have meditated with me are very familiar with. All right. Then we realize, so this is where the juice comes in. So we've connected with the force, and now we are going to use affirmations and denials to say that is not true. And what neuroscience has said is that with an untrained mind, we tend to think negatively first. So it's often helpful to say that is not true. With the force of God, that is not true. And then to be able to speak to what is true. So the denial, blank is not true of God, so therefore it's not true of me, and the affirmation, I am. And we get to get poetic and creative with that part of the prayer. Then lastly, we give thanks as though it's already been done. And that's where Dr. Joe said, what would it be like to have the feeling in the future, feeling now that in the future all is well? And that's because we've already given thanks that it is done, even though it hasn't shown up in form yet. So let us try some examples together. This is what an outline for a very simple prayer would look like. it would look like, I relax and know that right where I am, God is. Since God is all and everywhere, it is activating life force within me. I meditate and I feel that divine presence of God, and then blank is not the truth of God, and therefore blank is not true of me. I am blank, which is the truth of God, and then I give thanks for blank. And so it is. So we all chose a word this last week. My word became confident. And confident means with trust, moving in life with trust. And so I am playing around with all the different ways that shows up for me. So here would be my prayer using that information. I relax and know that right where I am, God is. Since God is all and everywhere, it is the activating living force within me. I meditate in the silence, feeling this activated force that I am. Cowardice is not the truth of God. Cowardice is not the truth of me. I give thanks that God is my source, and so it is. Amen. Here's another example. This example is regarding illness, and it goes like this. I relax and know that right where I am, God is. Since God is all and everywhere, it is the activating living force within me. I meditate in silence, feeling this. Illness is not the truth of God. Illness is not the truth of me. This is the true statement. I am whole, and my body reflects this wholeness. I give thanks that God is my health, and so it is. Amen. One more example. I relax and know that right where I am, God is. Since God is all and everywhere, it is the activating living force within me. I meditate in the silence, feeling this active force that is in movement. Sadness is not the truth of God. Sadness or any emotional state is not the capital T truth of me. I am free of despair in God. I am joy-filled in me. I give thanks that God is joy and that I can rest in it, and so it is. Amen. So this is where you need your pen, is that right now choose your word, and you are going to fill out what is not the truth of God given your word. And if anyone has an example, or if anyone has a word that they would like me to use for an example, I will give that a shot. Yes? Wealth? Okay, great. So, I relax and know that right where I am, God is. Since God is all and everywhere, it is that activating living force within me. I meditate in silence and I feel this. Poverty is not the truth of God, and poverty or lack is not the truth of me. I am wealth. I am the wealth of God. I give thanks for the prosperity that God demonstrates through all of creation, and so it is. Amen. So, Dr. Ernest Holmes, in the early 60s, needed $15,000 in order to further the religious science organization because they were in debt. $15,000 in the 1960s is how much my parents paid for a beautiful home in a nice neighborhood in Seattle. That was a lot of money. And so he sat for a good 12 hours, just like Myrtle Fillmore did. And he said, I am the $15,000 that I seek. There is no separation between God and me. The force of God is in operation through me. I am that 15,000 that I seek. And within 48 hours, a businessman who had studied under Ernest Holmes, who became extraordinarily wealthy and owned a chain of retail stores, knocked on his door and gave him a check for $15,000 and said, this is my tithe for how well my stores have been doing. So we don't know the where that it comes from, and we don't need to. We are practicing in consciousness the power that we are. All right. Does Is there anyone who does not have a negation for what they may be thinking with their word? All right. So let's all together say our own prayers out loud, starting with, I relax and know that right where I am, God is. Since God is all and everywhere, it is the activating, living force within me. I meditate in silence, feeling this. And it may take a second to feel the force of God, and it may take hours, and it doesn't matter how long it takes. We sit there, and then from that place of knowing, let's say our negations. Cowardice is not the truth of God. Cowardice is not the truth of me. I am the confidence of God in flesh. Okay? I give thanks for God as my source. And so it is, amen. Okay, wonderful. Give yourselves a hand. So what we know from that work that was done by Dr. Emoto so many years ago around water is we know our body temples are made predominantly of water. We know the words we use change our body temples. They change the water. They change our reflective ability. They change who we are in consciousness, and that is the activating force of the universe. And so now you have one tool. This is the tool that Unity was founded on. Many of you already knew it, but now you have a formula or a format to use this week as we go and incorporate it with our white stone. Remember, next week, we're going to learn about how to pray for somebody else, and look for a prayer partner today if that is right action for you. So let's go ahead and meditate. And let's feel the force. Let's just close our eyes and get in touch with our third eye, our heart, and our gut. Feeling all three as open portals of divine good. And with your attention placed upon your belly, your heart, and your third eye, affirm with me, I feel the force of God. And reinforce with me, I am that which I seek. And place the energy of your word in your third eye, in your heart, and in your gut. And so I give thanks that each and every one of us is the inlet and the outlet of God. That divine power and presence and love lives within us. When our mission says we're about love, it's not about getting something from outside of ourselves. It's about unleashing the power of the universe within us. It is about coming to the awareness that the world and our vision of it lives within us. That how we see life comes from an inner guidance system that either is aligned with divine presence or is aligned with a personality that we have built up over time. And I give thanks we come together at this center with the intention to live from God, to live from Source, to live from capital S Self. And in doing so, we have a community that holds us in that space, knowing that the perfection of God is coming through us. And so I give thanks for each and every one of us here in this room today. I give thanks for the divine presence of love that is always in operation. And I give thanks that we are far more powerful than we have yet tapped into. And so I give thanks that I claim right here and right now that 2024 is a good year for each of us. And so it is. Amen.
Found the door to heaven and the key. Open up my heart. I have found the door to heaven. In this moment is where I start. You can find the door to heaven. The key, open up your heart. You can find the door to heaven. In this moment is where you start. Take my hand, release your judgment. It's a simple way to start. You can find the waiting answer. Yes, it's true, right in your heart. I have found the door to heaven, and the key is to open up my heart. I have found the door to heaven. In this moment is where I start. You can find the door to heaven and the key. Open up your heart. You can find the door to heaven. In this moment is where you start. God is here within to guide you and to help you do your part. Have no fear, it's right inside you. And this moment is where you start. And this moment is where you start. Yes, this moment is where you start. And this moment is where you start.
That's beautiful. I have found the key to heaven. It's the heart and it's the moment. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. All right, now is our time for giving. So those who feel called to bless the money with me can make their way up, and the ushers are going to come forward after we bless our money. So for those who are auto givers, thank you in advance. And for those who have not yet learned about auto giving, please talk to Tricia or Deanna, because it's easy for you and it's helpful for us. So it's a win-win. All right, let's place our giving on our heart and say our prayer together. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share.
We're here because we want to sing, share the joy with you. Here for the harmony we can bring, share that with you too. Sharing love with this song. Come on y'all and sing along. We're happy here, the Spirit's singing too. Lift your voices, come on now, come on and sing along. An easy tune you can do, help me sing this song. Snap your fingers, clap your hands, we know joy fit God's plan. Is happy here, the Spirit's singing too. We're here to share with all God's kids. Yes, ma'am, that means you. A smile on every face it shows. Yes, sir, that means you. Sharing love with this song. Come on, y'all, and sing along. We're happy here. Spirit singing too. Everybody sing, we're happy here. 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 Sharing love with this song. Come on, y'all, and sing along. We're happy here. Spirit singing too. Yeah. We're happy here. Spirit singing too. That's one of my first tunes of this year, 2024.
Yay, thank you for sharing it. Yeah, beautiful. All right, before we bless our money, Reverend David, could you stand up? Reverend David is doing the Delve into the 12 class starting here this week, I believe. And a shout out to Tricia. She got the class in the newspaper in the Spokane Review. It was out last Sunday. So, did you do it, Gay? No. Oh, okay. Amen. Yay, Tricia. Go, Tricia. All right. So, with our hearts filled and overflowing of God's good, let's extend our hands toward the giving. And let's just give thanks that the presence of God just gives. The presence of God says, let there be, and there is. The presence of God gives forth to those who align and say yes. And so I give thanks that each and every one of us here has aligned and said yes to the goodness of God being active in our life. So from this place, we bless this money. We trust in its multiplication. We trust in its undergirding and support of the ministries that we have here at the center. We know that it is an active, fluid flow of God that continues to come in and continues to go out. For God, the good, is in the circulation business, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And so I give thanks that we too mimic this expression. I call us good, I call it good, and so it is. Amen.
We're at that time in our service where we read our unity statement. Together, unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity stands and remains for God, and asks for God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, and one life. So wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We want you to know all of you are welcome here. And if you're a first-time guest, we have a welcome packet that has a free coupon for our barista stand and some other goodies. And if you feel comfortable, please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you if you're first time. All right, thank you for being here. You can sign up for our e-newsletter that comes out every Wednesday, and by scanning the QR code that you see here or around the center, you can also find it on our Unity website at unityspokane.org, and it will give you all kinds of information on classes, on services, everything that we have going on here, which is a lot. So thank you for joining us here today, and thank you for people on the web for watching us too. We appreciate that. Our chaplains today are Murphy and Diane. Diane standing in the back there. They have been holding our service in prayer for us today, and Diane will be available to pray with you immediately following the service at the front of the sanctuary. So if you have anything that is heavy on your heart or a joy that you would like to share and celebrate, please come see her. And we'd like to encourage, we thank you for your service. We'd like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to fill out a prayer request that is in the seat pocket in front of you and place it into one of the two prayer boxes we have, one at the back of the sanctuary, one in the atrium. It will be prayed on here for 30 days and also sent to Silent Unity, where they will pray over it for 30 days also. Thank you. And now it's time for News You Can Use with Tricia.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. Okay, so we kind of have a packed agenda after the service today, but first I'm just going to give a little reminder that the annual meeting is on Sunday, February 25th. And then immediately following the service today, we are going to have our town hall meeting. And then, it's really busy, I'm telling you. After that, we're going to have our lunch benefit for the kids. So it's going to be by love offering. Let's empty our pockets and get these kids to camp. All right, and then as Reverend Bonnie talked about, we do have Delve into the 12 that's coming up this week. There is one book left. If somebody's looking to purchase it, I do have that. You just let me know and find me in the bookstore after service. All right, we're pretty excited to announce we've got karaoke night coming up. We're going to be celebrating and singing with friends. Don't worry, you don't have to sing to come and enjoy. Or maybe you do, I don't know. The first half, you're going to enjoy some food and just have some camaraderie and get along with everybody, hopefully again there. And then after that, from 6 to 8, you're just going to enjoy some talents from our friends here. If you want to sign up, go ahead and let Gail know. If you're bringing food, she would just like you to let her know the categories so we can kind of keep things organized. And get that to her by Wednesday the 17th. That's when you'll get some instructions also. And let's see, they will be outside, Gay and Dave will be outside of the service to sell tickets as well. for our concert that's coming up in February. Love is all around. We're super excited to have Pamela Benton with us. She is an amazing entertainer. That's going to be on February 9th. Tickets for early birds are $25, so save yourself a few bucks, but as soon as February 1st hits, they go up to $30. You can also purchase VIP tickets, which come with premium wine, a CD from Pamela Benton, and a little treat from the concession. So all good stuff there. There it is, right there for you to see. Again, we have another great announcement. Unity Choir and the Women's Ensemble is looking for folks who just want to get out there and have some fun and sing, and there is no need, no pressure. You don't have to sign up or audition. You can just show up for Unity Choir on Thursdays at 6:30, and then if you're looking for the Women's Ensemble, it's on Tuesdays at 6:30. All right, so if you you can just show up and expand your musical enjoyment. Please sign up through e-news, and that's about all I think I got. That was a lot. I made it through. All right.
Thank you, Tricia. We do have a lot going on here at the center, don't we? All right, it's time. Our kids have arrived. They're out there waiting. Let's welcome them.
Walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
All right, welcome kids, welcome kids. We are so fortunate and so blessed to have such an amazing youth ministry here at Unity Spiritual Center, and we truly want to thank all of the older adult people who work with these kids. It's a gift that they give, and it's greatly appreciated. So let's warm our hands up and get ready to bless the children and ourselves. Together, love you are, sing the song you hear, share your joy of life with people far and near. And for ourselves, be the love we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. Okay, find your folks or whoever brought you. And now, if you are able, please stand for our prayer protection, followed by the peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.
Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as the guide, and the We're here because we want to sing and share the joy with you. Here, form and harmony we bring to share that with you too. Sharing love with this song. Come on, y'all, and sing along. We're happy here, spirit singing too. Everybody, we're happy here, 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 too. Come on, y'all, and sing along. We're happy here, spirit singing too. Yeah, we're happy here, spirit singing too.
Thank you, Michael.